Our weekly concept is, how does your garden grow? Our essential question is, what do living things need to grow? We're going to watch it grow. So now let's take a look at our paired selection. I really love that watering can there, don't you? And they're working together. Who do you think the woman is? Do you think the woman is the boy's mother or grandmother? What do you think? And what makes you think that? Talk that over with a partner at home. And now let's get into the selection. My Garden by Kevin Hinks. Boy, I'm a big fan of this author illustrator. He's most probably noted for his mouse book. Maybe we'll have to pull out some of his other work this week. Well, we had one earlier this year, Chrysanthemum. Remember about the mouse with a really long name? And I'd love to take a look at, is it Lily's Purple Plastic Purse? That's a really cute book. So let's take a look at this book and see if we enjoy it as much. My Garden by Kevin Hinks. And then we'll follow that up with poetry about plants. So My Garden is a fiction piece, and as far as I know, um, that is the only thing that Kevin Hinks writes is fiction. I'm not aware of anything else. Let's take a look here. Oh, I love that. Isn't that pretty? It's like a wreath with all different flowers and birds and shells on it and bugs as well. My Garden by Kevin Hinks. My mother has a garden. I'm her helper. I water, I weed, and I chase away the rabbits so that they don't eat all the lettuce. It's hard work, and my mother's garden is very nice. But if I had a garden, there would be no weeds and the flowers would keep blooming and blooming and never die. In my garden, the flowers could change color just by thinking about it. Pink, blue, green, purple, even pattern. You could use your imagination. And if you picked a flower, another one would grow right back in its place. This is in her imaginary garden. So you have a whole row of flowers, you pick all of them, and look at they grow right back really quickly. In my garden, the rabbits wouldn't eat the lettuce because the rabbits would be chocolate and I would eat them. Can you imagine that? If I planted seashells, I'd grow seashells. Love the imagination here. If I planted jelly beans, I'd grow a great big jelly bean bush. Can you imagine that? I wonder what type of garden you would grow. Imagine you could grow your favorite thing. Sometimes in my garden, good, unusual things would just pop up. Buttons and umbrellas and rusty old keys. So can you imagine anything that you love, it would just appear. In my garden, there would be birds and butterflies by the hundreds, so that the air was humming with wings. Oh, what a beautiful idea here. What a beautiful picture. The tomatoes would be as big as beach balls, and the carrots would be invisible because I don't like carrots. Biggest ever. At night, the morning glories would stay open, shining like stars, and the strawberries would glow like lanterns. Well, this is kind of like her nighttime garden. Oh, what would a garden look like at night? It's night now. Only the fireflies and the porch light are glowing. Before bed, I take one seashell from the shelf in my room and go to the garden. I poke the seashell into the ground. Who knows what might happen? I cover it up with dirt and I pat down the dirt with my foot. What are you doing? Asks my mother. Oh, nothing, I say, just working in the garden. Well, that was sweet. What do you think? Look at the end page here. Look at this, her seashell, and there's a little root growing down. What do you think? Is that real or is that her imagination? I thought it was going to be a pretty conventional kind of, to be honest, not very exciting story when I saw my garden, but I really thought it was quite clever in the middle. What was your favorite part about the garden? What would you like to grow? If you could grow anything in a garden, what would you choose to grow? You can be creative. Talk that over with your partner. Now let's talk about some plant poetry. Poetry is not done in complete sentences. Sometimes it can rhyme, but it doesn't always have to rhyme. Let's take a look at this one called Tommy by Glendolyn Brooks. Tommy. I put a seed into the ground and said, I'll watch it grow. I watered it and cared for it as well as I could know. One day I walked in my backyard, and oh, what did I see? My seed had popped itself right out without consulting me. Pretty cool there. Kind of clever and some rhyme. Grow and know. And we have see and need. See if there's any other poems in here that we could take a look at. Beautiful. It's called Maytime Magic. A little seed for me to sow, a little earth to make it grow, a little hole, a little pat, a little wish, and that is that. A little sun, a little shower, a little while, and then a flower by Mabel Watt. Sweet, what are some of the things that the flowers needed? Okay, they need soil, and they need sun, and that shower was the little rain coming down. When you have sun and rain, you could get a rainbow. Looks like maybe tulip. See if there's any other poems. Oh, I like this one. It does look like a fall scene. I see the crows. I see the leaves flying in the air. What other hints tell you it's fall? Ooh, little squirrels running around and owls are out. What do we have? Oh, little, is that a little pig there? I'm not sure. We have moles underground. Let's take a look at this. It's by Aline Fisher, The Seed. How does it know, this little seed, if it is to grow, to flower, or weed? If it is to be a vine or shoot or grow to a tree with a long, deep root. A seed is so small. Where do you suppose it stores up all of the things it knows? I like that one. I see a lot of rhyme in it. We have know, grow, seed, weed, bee, tree, shoot, root, small, all, suppose, know. So it has a real nice rhyming pattern to it. And it does make you wonder, well, you see a seed, and unless it's a seed that is really something that you're familiar with, like a pumpkin seed, and it has an unusual shape to it, or a bean, you might not have any idea what the seed is for until it starts to grow, right? So it's got all of that knowledge inside of it. It has everything stored in it. And sometimes it could be a mystery, right? Look at those long roots that she's talking about here. These roots are even going below where the moles are living in their burrow. Lots of roots here. And one more poem by Alma Flor Ada. Let's take a look. It's called Garden. My mother works in a garden, growing carnations, both red and white, seeding, watering, and replanting, and when they bloom, it's pure delight. So, have you ever had a garden? Do you know anyone that has a garden? What would you choose to grow in your garden? Talk it over with your chat partner at home, and we'll touch base on that again during small groups on Wednesday.